Do what he's got to do, and I don't really see any other fights for Alexander Usyk. One thing I will tell you is, don't count your chickens. I don't think Daniel Dubois will necessarily beat you.
What is going on, fight fans? And welcome back to the channel. The boxing world is still buzzing after Alexander Usyk's incredible victory over Tyson Fury, a win that etched his name into the history books. But just as Usyk was soaking in his moment of glory, who storms the ring? None other than Daniel Dubois, demanding a rematch and reigniting the controversy from their 2023 bout where Dubois felt a legitimate body shot was unfairly called low. It was a bold move, a headline-grabbing stunt, and Dubois even publicly called on his promoter Frank Warren to make the second fight happen. But hold your horses, because Matchroom kingpin Eddie Hearn has stepped in, and let's just say he's not exactly rolling out the red carpet for Dubois' dream rematch with Usyk. In fact, Hearn's recent comments have thrown a massive spanner in the works for any immediate hopes Dubois had. Dubois barging in like that? It didn't sit well with everyone. Boxing pundit Carl Frampton, for one, was quick to call out the interruption. He labeled it disrespectful, not just to the two warriors who just battled it out, Usyk and Fury, but also very pointedly to Joseph Parker, the man Dubois is actually scheduled to fight next, this February. Frampton made it clear that Parker deserves Dubois' full attention and respect right now. And Eddie Hearn? He's basically echoing that sentiment, emphasizing that Dubois' path back to Usyk is anything but a straight line. Hearn laid out his thoughts on the post-fight theatrics.
In the ring, obviously trying to make a fight, but it's a little bit disrespectful. First of all, to Tyson Fury. Secondly, to Alexander Usyk. But thirdly, to Joseph Parker, who he's going to fight in February. You know, it was I didn't quite like that. I understand why he's doing it, but...
Another former world champion, Froch, also had plenty to say about the incident. The Cobra didn't mince his words, expressing his own skepticism about how it all went down. Froch questioned Dubois' timing and even suggested the whole thing might have been a pre-planned stunt.
Well, I jumped in the ring and said, let's get this fight on. I think he was told by Brickshop to do that. Jump in there, make a bit of noise. So Daniel Dubois got in there. I didn't like it because Usyk was tired. He wanted to do his interview, and then he's got Daniel Dubois jumping on. But I understand, he's selling the game, aren't you? Trying to get the next fight. But I didn't like the way he did that. And Usyk's just put in a real shift. He was tired. It was marked up. And he's now having to say, and he actually called it, didn't he? He said,
Froch really didn't like how Dubois interrupted Usyk, pointing out that the Ukrainian was clearly exhausted after that grueling war with Fury and just wanted to do his interview. While Froch gets the promotional angle, trying to build hype for a future fight, he felt the execution was poor. He cautioned that if a rematch with Usyk ever does happen, Usyk would need to be laser-focused and fully prepared. Interestingly, Froch did give Dubois some credit, acknowledging his recent improvements in the ring, particularly his growing confidence and undeniable power. But, and it's a big but, with that dangerous assignment against Joseph Parker looming, Froch believes Dubois has a massive hurdle to clear first. He also had some thoughts on Usyk's next potential move.
I wouldn't like to see Usyk get in there with Daniel Dubois and not really fancy it and not want to do it, because Daniel Dubois is young, strong, big puncher. He's flying at the minute. I know he's got Joseph Parker next, but I suppose if Usyk does fight again, that's probably the fight for him. That's the fight that we're going to want to see as fans. But I think Usyk should just go away now, enjoy that win, back-to-back wins against Tyson Fury, who is one hell of a fighter. He's a fantastic...
Trainer Malik Scott, who knows a thing or two about the heavyweight game, strongly agrees that Alexander Usyk shouldn't be rushing into anything. With Usyk now firmly established as a dominant force, Scott believes he's earned the right to a proper break, time to recover, reflect, and let the heavyweight landscape continue to shift. Scott urged Usyk to use this downtime to observe how things play out with other contenders, specifically mentioning the upcoming clash between Dubois and Parker. He sees them as needing to battle it out for that top contender spot. For now, Scott has a clear idea of what the biggest fights are and what Usyk should be doing.
In your eyes, Fury and Anthony Joshua is definitely one of the biggest fights in the history of the sport right now, and I think they should pursue that. And now Alexander Usyk should just go on rest and wait to see what Dubois and Joseph.
The legendary Lennox Lewis also shared his perspective on Usyk's future after that monumental victory. Lewis, a man who knows all about reaching the pinnacle of heavyweight boxing, praised Usyk's incredible grit, discipline, and unwavering determination, acknowledging him as a dominant force. However, Lewis pointed out that Usyk is now at a significant crossroads in his career. With his legacy already cemented, Lewis suggested that Usyk's next move, whether it's retirement at the peak of his success or continuing to chase new challenges, will boil down to his own personal ambitions. As Lewis sees it, the road ahead for Usyk is wide open, with several compelling options on the table.
Goes to London, the biggest fight in history,
Another former heavyweight king, Vladimir Klitschko, chimed in as well. He congratulated Usyk on his triumph, but was pretty dismissive about the idea of a rematch with Daniel Dubois. Klitschko firmly believes Usyk has already settled the score.
Get in the ring and challenge him to a rematch. How do you see that fight going if it happens?
I don't think Alexander needs any repetition with Dubois.
In Klitschko's eyes, a second fight with Dubois is completely unnecessary. His advice to Usyk? Focus on more meaningful matchups within the elite tier of the heavyweight division, where far more significant challenges and legacy-defining opportunities await. So, while some might see Daniel Dubois as a potential challenger to Usyk's undisputed crown, his immediate call-out has certainly stirred the pot and drawn a fair bit of criticism. Many feel he's jumping the gun by demanding that rematch, especially with that high-stakes encounter against Joseph Parker locked in for February. Promoter Eddie Hearn, as we've heard, is certainly skeptical about Dubois' chances, particularly given Parker's recent string of impressive performances and victories over top-level opponents. Hearn made it very clear what Dubois' main focus should be right now.
In February to worry about, that's the main thing he should be worrying about at the moment, and that's his fight against Joe Parker. That is going to be a tough fight for both of them. It's a good fight, and I'm looking forward to that. And after that fight, then to see how...
Hearn isn't just blowing smoke. He sees the Parker fight as genuinely tough for both men. He even downplayed Dubois' recent win over Jarrell Miller. The transcript incorrectly states Joshua here. It was Miller whom Dubois beat in December 2023, just before this Fury-Usyk period contextually, suggesting it wasn't the kind of statement victory needed to establish him as a top-tier threat. And it's not just Hearn. Frank Warren, Dubois' own promoter, is singing a similar tune. Warren is urging his fighter to put all his energy into the looming challenge Parker presents before he even thinks about Usyk or any other elite heavyweight. The upcoming bout with Parker is being billed as a massive test.
A great fight to be involved with because he's in good form. He's looked great in his last 3 outings, and he's full of confidence. And with each fight, he looked better and better. So I have to be on my game and better than what I was against Zhang.
While Dubois is angling for that Usyk rematch, other names are inevitably being thrown into the mix. Trainer Martin Nelson, the transcript refers to him as Billy Nelson in one part, but Martin Nelson is a known trainer for Martin Bakole, while Billy Nelson trains others. Assuming context points to Martin Bacole's camp, given the fighter mentioned next, has boldly entered the conversation, suggesting that his fighter, Martin Bakole. Transcript mentions Mark McCauley, but this seems like a transcription error, as Martin Bakole is often discussed in this context, and trained by Billy Nelson, Jackie Martin Nelson camps, would be a more serious threat to Usyk. Following Usyk's win over Fury, which Nelson apparently wasn't overly impressed by, even scoring at a draw, he made a pretty audacious claim.
Martin McCauley is said that he would destroy, crush Alexander Usyk in a fight based on his last performance with Tyson the Gypsy King Fury. Billy Nelson has stated that based on Alexander Usyk's last performance, his fighter, Mark McCauley, would destroy Alexander Usyk with the relentless pressure, the youth, the hunger, the power.
Amidst all this speculation and callouts, what does Alexander Usyk himself have to say? Well, his message is crystal clear. He's not interested in any new opponents right now. Speaking at his post-fight press conference after that grueling victory over Tyson Fury, Usyk poignantly emphasized his profound need for rest and quality time with his family. The undisputed heavyweight champion expressed an overwhelming desire to step away from the relentless demands of boxing.
I wanna rest because my little daughter Maria Today, my wife sent me a message video. My little daughter say, "Daddy, Daddy." 10.5 months. I look at my little daughter. 2 months. Now I wanna rest. Not think about boxing, Dubois, Tyson Fury. Just rest. Just play with my.
Usyk's promoter, Alex Krashuk, is fully backing his fighter's decision. Echoing Usyk's sentiments, Krashuk made it abundantly clear that Daniel Dubois has a significant hurdle to overcome first in Joseph Parker, a fight Krashuk believes will be anything but a walk in the park for the British heavyweight. Krashuk stressed that it's simply too early to be seriously discussing a rematch between Usyk and Dubois, noting that Dubois still has a mountain to climb to prove he even belongs back in that title conversation.
Has to fight Joseph Parker, and this is a very tough fight for him. I have my bet with Joseph Parker, so it's too early to mention here Daniel's name in regards.
However, not everyone in the boxing world is convinced that Tyson Fury should continue, or even that Usyk should prolong his reign. Former world champion Froch, for instance, has openly suggested that Fury should seriously consider retirement. Froch floated the idea that a massive domestic showdown against Anthony Joshua could serve as a fitting final chapter to Fury's career. He rather bluntly described a potential Fury-Joshua fight as a rubber match or battle of the losers, in the context of them both having been outclassed by Usyk.
Because I was saying earlier that he's completed the game.
Be the boss, walk away from it, be one of the very few to walk on top.
Daniel Dubois rematch?
I know he said that in the ring, could do it, but be one of the very few to walk on the top.
The heavyweight scene is absolutely electric right now. The question on everyone's mind, can Daniel Dubois overcome the dangerous Joseph Parker and legitimately earn another shot at Alexander Usyk? Or is he, as some suggest, overestimating his current standing and chances? This Parker fight is make or break for Dynamite. What do you guys think? Let me know your predictions and your thoughts on the whole situation in the comments section below. Who wins, Dubois or Parker? And does the winner truly deserve a shot at Usyk next? Don't forget to smash that like button if you enjoyed the breakdown, and if you haven't already, hit subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss any of our upcoming boxing news and analysis. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you in the next one.